Hey everyone, this is Luke, and welcome to Crypto Coffee Break, where I interview some of the brightest minds and coolest people in the blockchain industry. And today we have a great show with CryptoSlate co-founder and CEO Nate Whitehill. If you guys aren't familiar, CryptoSlate is a great blockchain and crypto-focused news outlet based here in Seattle, Washington. And so, yeah, let's introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Nate Whitehill.
Hey guys, I'm Nate Whitehill. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CryptoSlate, a website for cryptocurrency investors and researchers.
Cool. So tell the viewers a little bit more about yourself. When did you start CryptoSlate? How did you start it? And how's it been so far?
So CryptoSlate was launched in December of 2017, and we started it off initially to just be an information hub and news resource for cryptocurrency investors and researchers. And currently we have around 15 or so global writers who publish content about blockchain and cryptocurrency on a daily basis. I've personally been an entrepreneur for over a decade now, having started a handful of companies and been in the crypto space since 2015 now.
Cool. What was, when you were getting started and growing CryptoSlate, what was the best decision you made?
The best decision was to really just start it. It was something that I'd been thinking about for a long time, as far as wanting to be in the crypto space full time, not just trading, but actually contributing content as well, doing research in kind of a professional way. So it took probably 6 months or so of wrestling with different ideas, including doing a podcast, just having a simple news site. But once I decided with my co-founder, Matthew, that this is something that we should just do, because the best, I'm sure you've heard the quote, the best time to plant a tree is yesterday. Second best time is now. So yeah, just actually starting it.
That's kind of how it is, especially in the blockchain ecosystem. The best time to do something is right now, because tomorrow someone might already be doing it. So while you're getting started, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
The biggest obstacle was trying to figure out how we can consolidate so much data from so many different projects, so many different coins. Obviously, anyone in the space knows that there's so much information. It's truly a rabbit hole. There's so many people and projects globally that we had to figure out how we were going to balance daily information as far as the news flow, with having a database of over 1,600 cryptocurrencies and over 1,000 ICO listings. So just trying to figure out exactly what data we wanted to cover was kind of the biggest challenge.
There sure are a lot of tokens nowadays, aren't there? So while you're getting started, you guys have some pretty significant partnerships in place now, don't you?
Yeah, so one of the interesting kind of entities to reach out to us pretty early on was Coinbase, who Coinbase wanted us to be a marquee publisher of their Coinbase index data feed. So they reached out to us a few months ago and said they like the site, and they gave us the opportunity to show the Coinbase index price on our site. So we're actually, I believe the only other partner at the time was CNBC, but yeah, we're actually proud to now show the index data feed, which is a combination of the assets that they offer, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. We show that price live on our site now.
Very, very cool. So for others who might be trying to get into the space, whether they're starting their own blockchain project or their own news site, anything like that, what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs trying to get into the space?
The biggest advice I would say is to reach out and really network within the community. So it's kind of difficult, obviously, to just come at it as just as an individual trying to build something. But once one becomes acquainted with all the other people doing things in the space, whether it's companies or individuals, it becomes a lot easier to kind of consolidate what is the best idea or the best plan of attack. So luckily for us, for me personally, I'd been a crypto investor since 2015 and had made some connections in the space. And through kind of talking to various other people in the space and figuring out what could be a good combination of information and resources to put together, I was able to kind of be guided in the right direction as far as what the goal for CryptoSlate was.
Awesome. And what is that goal? 1, 2, 3, 5 years from now, where do you see CryptoSlate?
The goal is to be the ultimate information resource for cryptocurrency investors or blockchain researchers. People obviously think that this is going to be one of the new emerging asset classes that someday may rival gold. So clearly, just from a financial perspective, there's a lot of interest, a lot of investment interest, but the amount of technology that's actually being built as well is also it's super overwhelming, I think, to most people. But when you merge the financial arena and the technology arena, you have obviously a ton of interesting projects and people in the space. So we really want to help consolidate all the information out there into one kind of website or one resource people can go to get the daily news or learn more about a specific currency or a specific wallet or a specific dApp.
It's kind of a one-stop shop for all things crypto and blockchain. So to get you to that point, what do you need help with? What are you working on? What could the community do to help you out?
So right now we're really kind of focused on putting out quality content of daily news, as well as covering other interesting cryptocurrency projects, other blockchain projects in the space. So we're looking for talented content writers, different analysts, and people who either have a deep interest in the space or a deep passion to contribute meaningful content that's not just the typical kind of shilling that we see on a daily basis. So people who believe in the industry over the long term and not just trying to pump up a project over a short term.
Yeah, it's kind of not split 50-50, but there's a lot on both sides in the industry. So if there are any writers or bloggers or anything out there, how could they get in touch? How can they send their content to you?
So if they go to cryptoslate.com, they can just click on the contact link at the very top, and we have a few different kind of ways to for people to get in contact with us, whether it's via Twitter or Telegram or just sending us a message. But we're always looking for talented content writers and people who believe there's something meaningful to contribute to the space.
Awesome. So let's take a couple steps back. How do you feel about the blockchain industry? Where do you see it going? What do you think the highest priority would be for long-term growth, or what issues do you see that we need to overcome, sooner rather than later?
So probably the biggest issue is kind of clear regulation. So obviously, because this is such a global phenomenon, there's so many different jurisdictions which have different regulation. But recently, in July, actually, the G20 summit occurred, and one of the priorities that they designated was having a kind of a clear global regulation that at least some of the larger countries in the space are all going to conform to. And I think that actually is happening. Well, increasingly over the next few years, we'll see clearer guidelines about what is an ICO versus what is a security in the space, and making it easier for new people and new companies to set up shop and operate the right way. So that's definitely, I would say, the biggest challenge. Another challenge too, I think, is going to be increasingly figuring out how we can filter out the bad actors from the good actors. This is an interesting industry in the sense that you have so much promising technology and so many promising people actually trying to develop meaningful technology and build real companies, but it's also intermixed with a lot of bad actors who are trying to either scam people or trying to make just money over a short amount of time. So how we can kind of figure out how to best filter out the bad from the good, I think, is another huge challenge for the space.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit like the Wild West right now. There's lots of innovation, lots of great ideas, and then lots of everything else going on.
Yeah,
So
definitely. A lot of
awesome. Well,
people.
anything else you want to tell viewers before
Um,
we get out of here?
Yeah, so definitely, I would say, if anyone is interested in the cryptocurrency space, whether they have no knowledge at all or they consider themselves an expert, we really try to cater towards every kind of stage of uh, growth that someone considers where they're at in the space. So one cool thing about our site is that we have a smart glossary feature built in. So if you're someone who doesn't know what a smart contract is or doesn't know the difference between an ERC20 token and an ERC777 token, you can read our articles and then find a little gray dot 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 over some of the terms which people may not be familiar with and get an instant kind of definition of what any given term is that may be confusing for someone who's new to the space.
That's a great feature because it's like reading Latin sometimes to especially non-tech savvy people. I mean, I'm in the tech industry, and when I first got into blockchain and crypto, it's a little bit like reading Latin. It was very confusing. So that's awesome. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Nate, and thank you to everyone who's watching this. And yeah, tune in next week for the next episode of Crypto Coffee Break.
Thanks so much for having me, Luke. It was an honor.
Awesome.
All right. Take care.
Bye.